You took me up on the offer when I put up the bat signal, because
Oh, I was driving to pick up Ken's from her grandparents, and I saw it right away. So I was texting while driving.
oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely always a good policy to fucking do. Let me see if I can go to my fucking account here and make it so this video is live. Yeah, for some reason or another, it's not even showing up. But even if it doesn't, that's not the end of the world. Uh,
Yeah,
what's most important, we'll get the introduction out of the way, is that episode 35 here. It's a very special one. My friend Bill Posada, better known as Joker, has decided to join me tonight. How you doing, buddy?
hey, I'm good, man. I'm good. Good to see you.
Very good to see you. You know, I know we spoke pretty recently about a couple things, but it's nice to actually see somebody's face, especially with everything that's been going on. Uh,
Yeah,
we don't really do a whole lot of face to face, and a lot of us don't really live too close together anymore either. So it makes it a little bit more difficult as well. You know,
yeah,
where are you at these days? You're still around Philly, right?
yeah. Right in Northeast Philly.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can get this damn thing to work yet. There it is. Make that public. And now people should be able to see what's going on as we are live on Facebook. And
There
if
you go.
and if not, it's none of their business anyway, and I'll post it up for them later. You know. But
Yeah.
thanks for reaching out and being willing to chat. I don't know if you really know what the gist of the show is, but typically I reach out to a lot of my friends and people that I know, and some that I don't. But
Hmm.
we just talk about any sort of different difficult things that people have had to overcome.
Okay.
In some cases, that might be death or addiction or whatever. You know what I mean? Injuries,
Yeah.
like for Greg, excellent. Oh, I mean, we just talked about losing 160 pounds on keto. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
So,
amazing. Dude
it,
looks good.
yeah, he definitely does. So, I'm not putting you on the spot to like, yeah, come up with anything, but I did, just knowing that we were going to talk, I wrote down a bunch of things. Like I
Okay.
just jotted down a bunch of shit that we could just talk about, whatever, at our leisure. It's not really important, but
Yeah.
uh, I guess we could certainly get any sort of wrestling stuff out of the way. You know what I mean? Like, what's your? I mean, we talked recently, but we didn't really talk about that. Like, what's your relationship with wrestling like these days? Uh, as far as
I
mentally.
I was talking to G's not long ago because I shot that video with him. Um, eh, it's almost like I guess like I kind of forgot the way of having fun. You know what I mean? Like that that kind of feeling when you first saw wrestling, what made you want to wrestle. You know what I mean? Like you mimic your favorite superstar and stuff, almost mimicking the same match as being a kid in the living room, backyard, doesn't even matter, a park. And it just seemed like along the way of taking it a little too serious, like being too engulfed in it, I kind of started losing the fun. And then towards the end, it got to a point where I was growing as an individual, got into the career, got married, started the family, the whole nine. And then now you're moving, you have a whole new mission in life.
Sure,
And it started to pull me away from wrestling, you know what I mean? And then it just
absolutely.
seemed like I kind of grew up in a way and looking at the petty shit which shouldn't be seeing at all or even trying to take stock in it. And it started to bother me to where I don't even watch it at all. Like I can't like if it comes on TV and I have coworkers that talk about it and I'm like, I don't watch it. Even when I was wrestling you know, towards the end, I stopped watching wrestling as a whole. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So now it's like I have I have to have closure in a way. I have to leave on my terms. Like when I had the knee injury, which is the most bizarre accident ever, and there's probably a lot of things that factored into it. And for a lot of people that didn't know, I ruptured my left patella tendon doing probably the most simplest fucking thing ever. It could have been anywhere from not warming up like I normally do my pre match ritual,
right.
probably a lot of the muscle weight I put on, um, the ring. It could have been a fact of many things. My knee was always bothering me prior to that, but once that happened, And then first ever surgery I've ever had, and I remember being told, I went to work actually, like I thought it was just a dislocated kneecap.
Sure.
I didn't say anything to my wife at the time, so I wanted to fucking panic and all that other shit that goes with it.
Right.
So we get to the ER. I remember I still had my shorts on. I did a good job, wiped my face clean and contacts on. They asked me what I did, and I told them I was a performer for Cirque du Soleil. And,
That's about the same shit. It's about the same thing
Dude,
anyway.
It worked.
Right.
It worked. Yeah,
Right,
it worked.
right.
And they thought it was just a dislocation. They sent me home. I'm not a schooling ride ever, but still, when I got home, I didn't want to be out of work as my real job because it was like I was a security lieutenant. I just got promoted to security lieutenant, so I dealt with gangs, drugs, and stuff like that. That was my focus. And I told them I work in an office so I could be at work, and they actually looked out for me. I went in with an immobilizer brace, worked in the office, still interviewing inmates, even though I wasn't supposed to, still doing what I had to do. And, you know, the whole process, the MRI and all that shit, finally get told, you know, look at my MRI, hey, you stretch this out. You know, that will heal within, you know, about 90 days or so. And when he looked at the front view of my x-ray, he's like, oh, can you straighten your leg real quick? And
Fuck.
dude, it was weird. It's like I couldn't, it's like I had no control over it. So I couldn't, he's like, yeah, you ruptured your patella tendon. And he's like, you have a date with me Friday. And I'm like, all right. Like, I knew something was going to happen.
Sure.
And I was like, okay. And, you know, did surgery. You know, I'm not a big painkiller guy at all. It's weird. It's like I get acclimated to it. I remember waking up. I remember getting the nerve block, and I was fucking scared. Like, I'm looking at this needle like this long, just sticking in my groin area into the nerve. So I'm thinking I'm going to feel it. So I get it done, and didn't feel anything. I was cool. So they wheeled me into a room, and it was a big room, and it just looked like something you'd see in fucking, like, you know, probably in like Russia or some shit. It's like real plain, real basic. And this is Rothman Institute. Great, great people.
Sure.
And I remember just laying on the table, helping them scoot over, and passing the fuck out. I wake up. I'm in a waiting room. I look at my leg. It's all like splint casted and shit. And the nurse sees me, say, hey, would you like something to drink and something to eat? And since I've done hospital duty for the jail, I was like, yeah, can I have a ginger ale and you have crackers? Like, yeah, it's like fucking 10 different styles of crackers. I'm like, this, I'll take a saltine. And then she comes back with an Oxy. And right away, I'm like, I don't want to take that. I was like, you hear the horror stories and shit. She's like, no, you need to take it so you can, get into the car and shut down. I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, all right. So I popped the Oxy in. I thought it was going to be all cloudy and shit. Nothing, dude. It went right to my leg. I was cool. I get home. I set my den up for me anyway, and I spent the next fucking week down there. And roller coaster, of emotions. It got to a point where I was like, I'm thinking like, what the fuck happened to me? Like, how did this happen? Then dealing with the wife at the time, who I'm not a person to ask for help. It's just not me.
Sure.
So she was carrying, it seemed like she was carrying like a burden, which also kind of pissed me off. You know what I mean? Especially when I was told I was getting surgery and she bends her head down to cry, and I'm like thinking to myself, like, what the fuck? Why are you crying? Like, I'm the motherfucker that's going to the table. You know what I mean? Like, this is like life changing. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
it's like, you better be sad for me. Right.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to be cool. Like, don't be sad for me, whatever. I did this. It is what it is. Let's get it fixed. So I been down here on perks and shit. The first day I had to get a fucking sponge bath from her. Dude, I felt so worthless. It is the weirdest feeling I ever had in the world. Like, I felt like so much shame. You know what I mean? Like having someone scrub me, which I'm capable of fucking doing it myself.
Right.
So the next day she goes back to work. Everything resumes back, and I'm here. It's like, you need anything? No, I'm cool. You sure? I'm cool. It got to a point where I won't ask for water. You'll ask me. No, I'm fine. I'll get it myself. I'm walking around the house like I'm not supposed to, stiff-legged and all. Took myself upstairs. The whole thing of showering myself, doing, the bathroom, which was like the hardest thing in the world. And that time, I guess, so much like emotions just running through my head. Like I got hit with depression, and I was trying to push it aside. I remember being asked many times if I ever get depressed, and I would say no. That's a fucking lie.
Sure.
It's just a whole bunch of shit just accumulated, and then it just felt good going back to work. But when it came down to wrestling, it's like I wanted to be careful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then the first match back was Homicide's 5150. Now Homicide is a guy I looked up to since fucking high school. Like I almost in a way like made my persona based on the realism of him because you're so him. He's like he's original. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not really much of a fucking gimmick. He took his personal fucking like aura basically and made it into what we know today.
Sure.
And he's been by my side from the very beginning. Like it's such a humbling feeling knowing that one of your fucking heroes is like with you 100%.
Yeah, and
So
I don't know if you saw, but he gave you a shout out in the comments here. I don't know. Can you see on your screen there? Can you see what I just?
it's tiny. I don't have my glasses.
It says he just said that you're the effing man and that you'll kill all of them. Basically, you'll kill them all.
See?
All of them.
And that's the thing that it humbles me so much, like having this guy, and I still look up to him as like this guy contributes to who the fuck I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
He contributes that.
Mm-hmm.
Him, Key, all those guys,
Mm-hmm.
and like he is the main dude that was pushing me to come back. Like just I have to have my closure and everything. So when I did the 5150, I want to do it in homage to him. Everything he's done for me throughout high school, throughout like early part of the season, I'd be like, it's like he was my hero and still is my hero within the wrestling world.
Sure.
And I recently went to an H2O show because he was wrestling Louis. Like, and I've known Louis since I was in high school. I used to take trips out to the Doghouse with a promotion I worked for. I got the honor of working there twice.
Okay.
And being around that crew. And I've known Louis then. And I needed to be there to see this match. And it's so much story behind it.
Sure.
I remember standing out in that crowd. At one point, I'm the only dickhead not wearing a mask. Looking around. I'm looking around. I'm like, ah, shit, I guess I should wear a fucking mask. So I put on a mask. I'm watching this match. And, like, look, like, the vibe in the building, the fans, like, they were, like, real wrestling fans. And the story they told in their match, like, it made, like, that point right there, like, reminded me why I wanted to be a pro wrestler.
Yep.
Just that match.
Yeah.
So I was so motivated. And then I remember going to Homicide. I was like, hey, like, and I gave him praise. And I told him exactly what I just said. And he's like, yeah. I was like, look, I won it. Like, I'm definitely coming back. And he's like, yeah. I was like, yeah. You know what I mean? And he said, I need a closure.
Sure.
There's projects that me, him, and Key and G's have talked about that I want to show the world. I want to introduce it to the world. And we all feel the same way. And that's when I could feel like now I could sit back and enjoy, life itself. You know what I mean? Like, life still goes on and whatnot. And, like you said earlier, it sucks. Like, we don't keep in contact with each other like we used to when we were fucking basically in our early 20s and shit.
Yeah.
But
saw each
at
other.
the same time, it's like,
yeah, like three,
like,
4 times a week we saw each other, training and shit, you know what I mean? Traveling.
But I want to leave knowing that I gave it my all. I have no regrets. You know what I mean? Like, I made the choices I did at the time, and, it made me who I am. You know what I mean? Made me wiser.
Same.
It gave me so much more wisdom. I've been around so many great fucking people. I got to see things in a whole new, different perspective.
Yeah.
And I just want my closure. So, like, honestly, I don't think I'm done. I really don't.
Sure.
Like, I gotta stop being a pussy and fight the fucking dickhead in my head that's saying, oh, no, you're gonna fuck your shit up again. Yeah. Or, no, it's gonna feel like, because, I mean, I do have permanent nerve damage now.
Right.
And running is an issue. And I was always a run and gun kind of guy. So I'm, like, slowly pushing myself into that point because it feels like my leg is not in rhythm of, like, a slow jog or whatever. But I run with my daughter, Kenzie, whenever we're in the like in the field or something when she's playing, and she motivates me and she tries to push me to run.
Derek Frazier said he miss you guys. I just popped up his little comment.
He's fucking, another one. You know what I mean? Like,
he was the
we
best.
We were around
man.
So many great fucking people.
He was my greatest rival of all time.
I honestly, like, he's one of the most, like, in Maryland himself, like, he has the credit that's due. I think everywhere else he's the most underrated fucking person and one of the most underrated fucking workers out there, period. Because, I mean, I had such a great time working with him. I had such a great time hanging out with him in the back. I mean, the guy's a family man.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, he's what everyone should try to aspire to be, honestly.
Uh
You know
huh.
what I mean? Like, to be able to juggle everything. And, I'm happy to see that he's doing well with, from what I can see on Facebook. And there's the
Yeah.
only way we keep contact with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I know he's another guy. Big shout out to Derek. He was the fucking man. Uh, another guy that injury at the perfect time kind of screwed over as well, because I think he had a couple of eyes on him, right when he
Yeah.
right in, when he and I were tagging together, and then he tore his knee really bad, and that screwed him over for a good bit, just taking that, like, 6 or 8 months to heal and everything else. And I don't know if it just was ever the same or not, but he came back and killed it. I know, in like the Shamrock Cups and things like that.
Yeah.
And I know he did a few things recently down in MCW in the last year and whatnot. But no, like what you were saying though about wanting to come back and things like that. In the last 4 years, I guess, because I retired this time of year, as a matter of fact, 4 years ago, right before my son was born. And like that was the primary reason I was leaving. But again, I think it was age. I guess it was also how I was starting to feel physically. But I
Mm.
think, going back to what you were saying, I instead of ever worrying about my spots or anything like that, or trying to be my character, all that shit was easy. Every time I went out there, I was worried about getting hurt. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I knew that together with wanting to leave because I was about to become a dad and had to become more responsible and this like that, things like that. I just was like, it's probably time for me to step away if I'm more worried about getting hurt every time I go out there, instead of, the shit that the rookies are worried about, or
Yeah.
all the butterflies were gone in that regard.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I should have known. It got to a point like waking up in the morning of a show day and you don't want to do it. You know what I mean? Like you
yeah,
wake
yeah,
up,
yeah.
you're like, fuck.
That was a lot of
And
the.
don't get me wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I loved what I did and what I do, but it's like
Oh, of course.
there's so
Yeah.
many factors that go into it. Like there's
Yeah.
so many things hitting you at one time. And I wish that I had a guy like me that was able to guide me in the right direction. Like John is a father to me. I say it all the time. Like John helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
Me and Nell had each other all the time. We had each other's backs all the time. We basically grew up together in this business. You know what I mean? Trained at the same little fucking garage in Port Richmond, the wrestling school there, and then, start moving around and whatnot. But like I wish I had someone like me that had the patience and the insight to kind of guide me in the right direction. Like to remind me like this is about fun. Like I talked about not long ago, and the one motherfucker I actually envy the most, honestly, is fucking Ruckus. That motherfucker would always say, "Hey, we're just here to have fun," and I was too fucking thick-headed to kind of understand what he's saying. And like now I look back, I'm like, and he's still doing his thing. I'm like, this motherfucker goes out there and just has fun. And then when you know his origin, I see it now, and I'm like, wow. And I say it to younger guys, because I got a dude that I work with at working part of my team, because I'm the lieutenant down the hole.
Right.
And he started training during the PWU days and stopped. And now he wrestles for these small, like AC, PW out in Delco,
Okay.
like that.
Sure.
Fucking, what I don't know why I can't think of his fucking name right now. I just worked with him today. But,
Sure.
Delco Dragon, they call him, right?
Okay.
And I told him, the main thing I told him, I said, look, just have fun.
Yep.
The only advice the main advice I can give you, the only advice I can give you is like, don't do what I did. Just have fun. Go out there. Remember why you're doing it. Just have fun. Go
Dude,
wrestle for fucking hot dogs. Like that, you know what I mean? Like,
the last few times I've been to Claude's house, like he's got every video ever that he's ever done, like every match ever, and he'll pull up some shit that like you and him and Nell did like before you guys ever even came to CZW to train, and it is it's so hilarious how fucking
Oh yeah.
how hard you guys tried. Like in front of the worst crowds at the worst
Yeah.
companies, you guys were out there trying to be key and stuff. Like it was
Yep.
fantastic. It was, but like, dude, that's not to say that me and Corey, we don't have our vault of embarrassing videos as well, where we were pretending to be our idols too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just fucking hilarious. Just as you're bringing it up, I'm thinking of the actual videos that I saw not that long ago at fucking Ruckus's house. He's got all that shit. But
Yeah. I gotta get copies. You haven't sent me some.
I guess besides like the business just kind of having become what it has, where it's probably about 50% performance, the other 50%, is your social media presence. You got to be on that 24/7. But like, I guess one of the things that's had me always steer clear of an actual comeback or even getting involved in the business has certainly been the pandemic, because like with wrestling being what it is now, it's all kind of become dojo wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You really can't. There's no real live crowds anymore, and anybody that's doing that, it definitely has to be weird,
Yeah.
having social distance crowds and people in masks and shit. So like for me, it's I wonder if and when things ever are gonna get back to normal, and if there's even a future of pro wrestling the way that we used to like it. You know what I'm saying?
I, I think it will. I think it's gonna be a resurgence of everything. Because right now, I look at people are starting to realize the things they took for granted and cherish so much, like being in a movie theater, sitting in a bar, sitting in a restaurant. Like I remember being in the first restaurant, me and my girlfriend went to Rehoboth Beach,
Right.
and they opened up the restaurant there, but you had to get a reservation. I remember sitting at the first one and having a fucking waiter just bring me a motherfucking couple. I just wanted to hug this motherfucker. You know what I mean? It was just
Sure.
the simplest thing.
Yeah.
And then you look at it, it's like that's what life is like now. But I think it's like with a lot of things that we all take for granted. Like I think pro wrestling will have a crazy, resurgence. Like it's just gonna fucking skyrocket. People, when the first show finally opens up, for example, anywhere, right? Just anywhere. Imagine old Combat Zone going back to the arena, and the first fucking time it opens that door, you know how many people are gonna be in there? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
I hope
it all
so.
matters on how saturated that first month's gonna be. If people are gonna be fucking running on top of each other,
They will.
that's
Know
all
they
that
will.
matters. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what matters, though. If you spaced
Yeah.
it out, like right now, me and how much I talk about how Philly's fucking dry.
And that might
Like
be
ain't shit going on.
the thing to do though, because WrestleMania and WrestleCon that they do every year got rained out.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll call it rained out, but it got COVID out. It might not be a bad idea that if and when the society gets the green light to come back, if they did sort of a WrestleCon weekend type thing, but. I just I don't know. I'm trying not to be pessimistic about the whole situation.
Yeah.
I'm not somebody who's personally worried about coronavirus or getting it or anything like that. I'm safe everywhere I go. I wear a mask in stores and keep a safe distance, and I don't go to any fucking parties or anything like that,
Yeah.
So but it is what it is. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to pick your brain as far as what you were thinking about wrestling these days. I didn't know if you were. I didn't realize that you were still thinking about. You had some stuff in the basement, as Rocky calls it, that you had to unload, as they fucking call
Nah,
it.
I got some.
I mean,
I
I
got
know you
talks
could do
going
it.
on with a few people. I have
Yeah.
talks going on with a few people now, and like I'm proud to see the guys make it, like Eddie and Santana and Angel making it to where they are, and now Joe Gacy. I
Yeah.
was hoping
Yeah.
to see him tonight. I was actually gonna stop by the CZW fucking school, believe it or not, just to see him. You know what I mean?
Sure. Sure.
But it's like seeing all these guys and then looking at it, and then some people say, "Hey, like if you still focused on it like full time or whatever, like would you have done it?" And then I look back, I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't think so. It's nothing I regret. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm geared for that type of lifestyle, honestly.
Right.
Because I look back as a mature individual now, thinking, man, you're just one injury away. And trust me, I don't wish anything bad upon. I'm not bitter about who made it. Whatever. I'm happy for everybody. Because
Right.
finally, fucking hardworking guys that hustled,
Yeah.
like now they're being seen worldwide. Like about fucking time.
Sure.
And it's like, no, I don't think I'm geared for it. Like, not for me. I mean, I still had the military thing and stuff like that. I pretty much see myself now, like, my placement on Earth in a weird way. Like, you know how you have your classes, your hunters, your gatherers, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I always think that way.
Yeah.
And it's primal. You know what I mean? It's part of our DNA.
Yep.
I'm put here as a protector, even though I hate the fucking people I protect. But that's what
Sure.
I'm set to do. You know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
comes natural to me. So,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's not over yet. You know what I mean? I'm like I said, I'm in talks with a few things, a few projects, and I just leave it to that.
Yeah, man. I think at the very least, I see you being involved. If you're still in love with wrestling and you still love wrestling or want to be involved, at the very least see you training somewhere, um, being involved in something like that. Or if you were maybe in talks of starting something, a company with a couple of guys, I could.
I don't think I'll ever do that.
Well,
I,
well, sure. No, I just meant like if.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just meant like if you were gonna be like backstage help or something like that for anybody, like I could see you being successful doing something like that as well, you know. But what the hell was I gonna say in regards to all that? I think I had a point about it, but it doesn't really matter. Oh no, I think what I was gonna ask really was, anytime I think about wrestling or if I wanted to come back or get in that kind of shape again, because I'm definitely not right now. Uh, is what do I really want? Like, what's the end goal? Is it just the
Yeah,
fame?
yeah.
Is it the fame and money? Is it just the attention? Do I miss the lifestyle? Because I definitely don't. Like, you know what I mean? Like you were saying earlier, I definitely don't miss anything that comes along with show day, other than the performance. You know,
Yeah.
that was the best part. But I definitely didn't like the drive. I didn't like the waiting, the anticipation, for that
Hmm.
10 minutes, that 15 minutes, that
Yeah.
maybe 25 minutes, and it's a lot for anxious people like ourselves to put up with, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like before going out, I always get nervous because I want everything to be perfect. I want to perfect everything, and it's not just me looking good. I've never saw it that way. I've always been a team guy. So it's like whoever I'm working with, I want it to be equal. You know what I mean? We just look
Yeah.
just as good together and tell a great story.
Yeah.
And the nerves, of course, because you're trying to, there's so much going on. The anticipation. I remember having the most oddest conversation ever, and this was my first ever conversation with Necro Butcher. First time meeting him, and he explained to me in a 10-minute conversation, well, basically it was a 10-minute monologue of him talking about the scientific explanation of the nervous P. And that's when I'm looking at him like, what? Like, this dude's not a fucking barbarian? Like, you know what I mean? And I mean, I still hold on to it to this day because it's like, I remember just having that conversation. Like, someone finally explained to me, why is every time before curtain time, I feel pee at the tip of my dick, and I'm just like, fuck. You know what I mean? And then when you go out there, it goes away. It's like your body absorbs it or whatever. But, like, I miss the feelings, but the main thing I miss the most is being, like, pre-show with you guys.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
that's what I miss the most. Like, especially old CZW. It was like we were all a family, all a gang. Everyone looked out for each other. Like, some people got ribbed on a little more than others, whatever. But,
Yeah.
we were all together. Like, we represented each other. You went and worked somewhere, and you were backed by your people. You know what I mean? And I
Exactly.
missed the pre-show,
That camaraderie.
the meets, everything. Like, it's just,
It was fun
You
too, like
know,
even like the stupidest shit where like DJ's trying to be all serious during the meeting and we're just laughing and fucking with each other, laughing at things that he says. Like he's trying to tell us the rules and we're just like, fuck you, Deej. You know, stuff like that. I miss all
yeah.
that.
I try. I try to be as diplomatic as possible about DJ. In a
Yeah.
way, I don't hate the guy. I hate his fucking ideas, but there's times I wish he washed his mouth out with buckshot.
I know
But
I know we've had several talks
yeah,
about
I
that.
don't. I mean, I don't. I don't know what it is. I think it's because he took something, and this is me. This is coming from me. He took something that I held so fucking precious, was Combat Zone.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and he fucking ruined it. And that's, it's just like, it's just a feeling. That's what it feels like every fucking time. Like he's mentioned, or if I go to one, I don't know anyone in these events. I mean, kids should definitely have their, you know, their time and do their thing and use as a platform to get their shit across. But it's just there's something about it. Like the place is robbed. Like all that cocksucker had to do was start his own fucking promotion. That's it, and not take something that, you know, that had so much history, so much, you know, fucking like
Dude, it's
just
like
a huge stigma in the business, and you fucking ran it to the ground. And for some reason, you're still holding on to the fucking name, and you're still doing the same thing. You ain't reaching out to any. You treated the older guys coming in like shit. You know what I mean? And it's, I
it's
just don't get it. Like I try to just sit back. I don't want to get angry about it.
no, it's
I
all good.
try. You know what I mean?
Well,
It's
I was gonna
just
ask you
an
about it
emotion
anyway.
that, yeah, it's just an emotion that just takes over. That's how I look at it. Like I'm not gonna ever just walk up and fucking punch the motherfucker in the face. As much as he has a face that is great to punch,
Yeah, it's like
but it's
Play-Doh.
like no, like I've traveled with him so long. We were very, very close, and I just don't understand what happened. And hey, if that's what he wants, hey, power to him. Fuck it. You know what I mean? It's your thing, your money, your vision. Hey, ride with it. It's cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just how I feel. So, I
That's how a
mean,
lot
I
of us
haven't
feel.
seen, yeah, I haven't seen much of the product at all. So, I mean, I, in a way, don't care. I'm happy for, like, the Dub Boys, you
Yeah.
know, the rep, whatever you want
Yep.
to call them, being the head trainers. Hey, hopefully they bring back what was lost.
Yes, and I don't know if you had a chance to listen to me and Dave talk about that last week. He was on my last episode, and I congratulated him on becoming the trainers, and I said that exact thing that you said. I said I think that you guys could bring back a little bit of what like Dahmer and Valentine had when they were the trainers there. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Just a little bit of that hard hitting, old school, working tight, working snug. Um, just maybe a little bit more emphasis on realism instead of finesse,
Yeah.
you know, and shit like that. But
But the main thing is what happens in the back. Like, I mean, I look at it like a business thing. Like where I work, for example, like it's all about taking care of your people. Customers are customers; they'll always come the fuck back. Whoever you have working for you is going to be there as long as you keep them. Okay,
right,
if you take care of your people, you reward them for doing outstanding work, even just a pat in the back. Hey, thank you so much. Handshake and shut that. You increase their envelope a little bit. You build that morale. They'll do anything for you. Don't take advantage of it by no means, but they will take pride at what they're a part of. Like the analogy I like using at work is you have two sets of people, two groups of people. The main mission right now is to build a fucking tower, like a tower, the tallest tower the world has ever seen. Say it's at the time 60 fucking feet. We're talking about like fucking cavemen and shit.
right,
So
right.
you got one team there. They have one leader. The other team has a leader, right? Now the one leader on team A is like, all right, look, guys, let's get this, like, you know, let's work together. Let's get the tower done. They go around to each individual. Hey, how you feeling? How you doing? How's the family? Blah blah blah. You know, cool. Hey man, keep up the good work. What do you need? And they lead from the front. All right. People still get their appropriate breaks. He's taking care of them, whatnot. You got the other side. that tyrannical dickhead is just thinking, all right, look, fuck that. We're gonna make it bit higher than 60 fucking feet, and we're gonna do it faster than them. So now, look, fuck it. Cut the brakes down from 30 minutes to 15 minutes, man. Fuck that. Let's crunch it. Let's cut it down to just 5-minute breaks. Let's work from 6 in the morning when the sun comes up to all the way to when the sun comes down, and we do it again. And his objective is, I want to get it taller than them by 10 feet, but faster than them, right?
Right, right.
Now, you look at the other side, Team A, with that leader leading from the front, checking the welfare of his people, his workforce, and everything. They're going to naturally adopt that vision that leader has as their own and have pride in that project. Okay? The other side, they're going to start slowly falling off. They're going to be disgruntled, because then you got someone that's actually a boss that's directing everyone to do shit, and they're not lifting a hand. There's going to be a mutiny within the group. You know what I mean? And that's the analogy I like using at the workforce. It's all about having your people happy.
Right.
And it's not about the styles, the snugness, or anything like you said. It's not just that. It's bringing back that family, that core camaraderie, thing back into the locker room. That's what matters. Everyone being there together as one team,
The fellowship.
getting their shit across.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's all they need. And then people will get better, because you got to weed out the selfish motherfuckers. You're always going to have them.
Oh, yeah.
But you got to let it be known, like, this is a family. We're all in this together.
Right.
You know?
And
that's what I want to see them bring back.
Yeah, and also for, your students and the people that work for you to prioritize working for your company over other bookings and things like that. You have to obviously treat them right and things like that. But yeah, man, I think kind of like you were saying, for me, the analogy I use is DJ kind of like took a family member away from you and sold them into sex trafficking, and you had to watch them disintegrate into drugs and sex and everything else. You know what I mean? Like, and that's basically what's happened to CZW. But just like yourself, man, like, I really don't watch just about any wrestling at all. I know what I know about wrestling from social media and the people that I follow. And as far as CZW goes, like, JCat and I will just cover the Cage of Death every year. So, like, I'll download Cage of Death, watch that, and then we do like a funny ass review every year just to, have a little fun with it and shit on.
There you go.
Shit on it. But if something's good, I'll put it over. Like, I don't shit on stuff just to shit on it. I'm fair when it comes to stuff like that. But it's just our annual little bit of fun that we do. But I was gonna. We pretty much covered it. But I was gonna ask you what you thought about, like, DJ getting called out on this speaking out stuff, because
dude. Man.
and it's like, it's crazy that,
I mean, I don't, like, my thing is, I honestly don't really want to, like, talk, like, as well as I do, and a lot of us, how deep, you know what I mean? Like,
of course,
like, we would poke fun at it because he was a fucking creep. Like, he moved around like a fucking creep. But, like, with all the allegations, I mean, when you look at a lot of these allegations coming forward, I mean, they're pretty fucking serious. Like, these things can ruin lives. You know what I mean?
Course.
So I sit back and I look at him and I'm just like, look, I've known this person for so long, and I mean, I'm cool with him. I've never seen anything. That's just me, you know what I mean? But it doesn't mean that they just have, like, a darker side to them. It's shit everywhere, you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna, I would say, make it less serious. I just think it's a good thing that a lot of people are speaking about and coming forward. Like, when Lufisto came out, I watched the video when I left work, and I was just like, like, dumbstruck, mad, disgusted. Right. You know what I mean? With the things they went through, and we never knew, because it was just a different culture. And then now that it's coming forward and more people coming forward, I mean, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And
of course, yeah.
You have to understand, like, this is like a work tool. This is work for a lot of people. You know what I mean? I'm not going to fucking work at a place that pulls some shit like that. I mean, I work for the fucking state. Them fucking assholes pull the same shit there, dude. Holy shit. You know what I mean? So many lawsuits.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
It'd be major news and shit.
Yeah,
I'm
once
just
I started seeing, I was like, wow. I was
yeah.
like, fuck, you
I was just
know.
gonna say like I'm just surprised honestly, and I asked Dave about this. I'm surprised that they're not like tucking their tail between their legs and shutting down. You know,
Yeah.
like Quack got accused of a lot of shit, and he basically just closed Chikara. He's like, oh well, I guess this is it. You know, I'm guilty of some of these things, but not all these things, so that's it.
Yeah.
And like you know, DJ and Maven were in hot water already for selling the footage and the catalog of CZW and WSU, and it got sort of rebranded as softcore pornography. You
I
know,
that's what I was trying to ask, like more of the story behind it, because I mean, I went to one of these custom things once. I had
yeah,
Shayna stay with me for a week,
yeah. I went to several
and
of them before.
I went to one, and I was like probably the third and yeah, the third male in the building. So I'm trying to like understand what it is that they're doing. So when it was explained to me, it was already like a fetish thing. I was like, all right, that's kind of fucking weird. You know what I mean? I was like, all right. I mean, I don't know how how if I was a female, how I would feel about it, but it just to me it just didn't seem right. It's like in a weird way, it was like exploitation of talent with some of these people. Like they have these fetishes to where it's like, all right, I want them to wear, one piece fucking bathing suits, and I want to see nothing but pile drivers, like weird shit like that. I'm just like, and they're paying for it. So you're like now you're pushing that to where now it's like, what's next? You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah,
what's the next thing that you can push to get away with? Now it's like, all right, I want a two-piece thong type thing, and whatever.
it does get
I mean, the
weird,
girls
man.
did their thing. Yeah, it does. But I mean, the girls did their thing. They got their hustle. They made their money. I
They
mean,
make a lot of money,
eh,
dude. They make a
yeah, yeah.
lot.
I mean, it's business and all, But at the same token, you still have to respect them, and like I said, like what you just mentioned, if you're selling this shit and you're putting a softcore porn without letting them know or getting consent from them, that's fucking foul. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's no different from this fucking cocksucker to put a fucking camera in the toilet bowl without them knowing and
Right.
selling that footage. It's no different.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
You're
Sure.
taking their footage with their likeness and everything, and they're thinking it's just you use it for wrestling, whatever, WSU stuff, and then you want to rebrand it for a new audience without their consent.
Right.
Like, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. You know what I mean? And
Oh,
they
of
should
course.
answer. Fuck them.
Sure. But I mean, like, and I would think that that's enough for them to be toast. But they were already running past that and like just basically not even acknowledging it, or I think they maybe released like a little bullshit statement or something. But that's neither here nor there. But like now with all this speaking out shit, like people have spoken out against DJ and his misbehavior of
Mm-hmm.
females and female talent, female students, and everything else, and he just hasn't said anything, and I guess they're gonna run again, in the fall.
Yeah,
I don't really know what the plan is. I'm just sort of like
it's
baffled.
probably best to not say anything.
Right, but
Because if
like,
you were to fucking say something, you're gonna contradict yourself, and you're gonna lie, and then it's gonna open something else. It's like either sit back, take it on the fucking chin, make it right, or just fucking crawl on a fucking under rock and just no one's gonna miss the motherfucker. You know what I mean? He's always gonna be the butt of every fucking mean joke there is, but
oh no, of course not.
it's my thing is just make it the fuck right. Like just come out with a statement. Just make it right. Don't fucking lie about it.
Right,
Just come out and just say, look, this is what we did. Put the facts up. You know what I mean? Just put it up. You
right.
fucked up. We all fuck up. You fucked up. Now make it right. You
Yeah,
know?
right. If you can, if you can make it right, definitely do that. While we're talking about CZW, I wrote down one fucking thing I wanted to ask about. What what happened the time I think you were working Masada and you ended up like shot putting Chris Levin?
Oh man.
I wish I could like
Wow.
I wish I could tag him. Like I don't think for some reason I can't. It won't let me do that.
It was a weird weekend for me. Wow. That weekend, let's see. I went to AC with my wife at the time. It was like, what is it, Friday night. We went to AC. to celebrate a family friend's birthday at Borgata, right, with her aunt, mum, which is her grandmother, and then this kid Jake. And he had a couple friends. So we go there, and I'm not a casino guy. I don't fucking gamble. I find it depressing, especially when I see old Asian people there, and it looks like they're just gambling away their fucking life. I just wait for someone to jump off the fucking roof, like the roof of the building, whatever.
That'd be amazing.
So we get there, and then I remember being in the room, and we're about to have dinner, and then a friend knocked on the door. And it's a person, so I don't want to go into it fully, but some shit happened that night. I remember I was going to throw one of his friends through a fucking window. So then the next night the match, and I was looking forward to wrestling with Posada. Like, I mean,
and you guys cut that.
I got to know him.
You guys cut that short for some reason, right? Didn't that match get?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't cut short. It was like couldn't figure out like how he wanted to finish it.
It ended in like a brawl, right? And like
like he couldn't figure out how to finish it. That's one thing I didn't like. Like, you want to be the booker, right? Like, for example, with the fucking, with the Briscoes when you first brought them in. You're bringing them in. You want to run a program, Phillies most wanted, right? And then you put us out there, and mind you, he already has them booked for months, right? And we're like, all right, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want out of it, right? And I'm all for follow direction. Like, hey, tell me what you want. I'll get it done. I'll make it work. And he's like, I don't know, just put put something together. And we're just like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So with this, it was the same thing. And I got to know Brig when we did UWF, the fucking UWF shit with fucking the shit. Yeah. The Urban Wrestling Federation.
Right.
Got to hang out. Oh.
I got you.
Let me fix it. All right.
You're
so we got to hang out during that, the 3 days around Manhattan shit, right? So we had a lot in common. And I remember watching old footage of him. So we go out there. I'm fucking stoked in wrestling. It was we mixed well together, everything.
Yeah.
And I don't mind tightness at all. Like, I don't mind it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's an equal trade. We worked well. But I remember after the match, I was explaining to the ref. I was like, look, I'm gonna be pissed at the end. I'm gonna grab you and I'm gonna throw you into the railing. Right? He's like, okay. And then he kept asking questions about like, how am I gonna do it? I was like, I don't know. I'm just gonna fucking grab you and just throw you in the fucking guardrail. How about that? So everything's happening, and I grab him and I go to do it, and the way he threw himself, I was like, I am not satisfied. And at the time, I was fucking juiced up. So I was like, I am not fucking satisfied.
I'm not. So
that's when I said, fuck him. So I fucking grab him. I gotta make up for this shit because a ref bump's gotta be a ref bump. So I pick him up. I took care of him. I even jammed my fucking thumb at the time, picking them the fuck up. I just launched them.
So you like gorilla pressed
safely,
him? Gorilla press?
Yes, and safely into the corner post.
And did he
I remember he freaked out. He was, oh, dude, he hit it, and it's like he stopped and fell down. And then afterwards, he went to Warrior Drew. Was like, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? Is he still mad at me? And then I go back. Now Joker is, now it's Bill. I was like, hey man, you good? I was like, yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm good. Is you sure, man? Hey, good job out there, man. Boom, and then that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was fun. I mean, I look back at it, I just laugh at when I see
Oh, dude, it was
like,
the fucking best. I remember him being all salty and like, I think after he was sad, he was like mad about it. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, you know. I guess I understand. I understand why he was pissed off.
I get it.
Yeah, but like also at the same time, fuck you. Like if the first bump was good, you would have been all right. You know. And I gotta
it was the moment. It was at that moment. Like I wasn't throwing him head first or something. It was just in the moment. It just had to be part of. It's just the atmosphere around it. We're tearing the shit apart. It's like, look, motherfucker, you're like right in front of a fucking, a hungry, charging bull right now.
This fella,
all I see is red.
This fella Anthony here said he thought they were going to see at least 3 more Joker versus Posada matches because he thought that the finish was a tease, and he drove from.
It was, dude. It was supposed to, like me and Brig talk. It's like say to me and Brain Damage. We're supposed to have another one. We talked about it at the end of the first one.
Right.
Like we wanted to do it again. That was the whole thing, and then it was just another thing that fell through the cracks. Me and Masada, same fucking thing. I was willing to go a few more fucking times. Like, but it's just one of those things that fell through the fucking cracks. Like my last CCW match was me and Homicide. That basically fell through the, you know what I mean? So it's, you don't have much control what's going on. And it sucks when you're working for somebody and, you know, they try to build it up, selling you, like giving you all the selling points of the shit. And then they're like, when it's time to go, like I said, I don't mind following direction. I remember working UWF and working with fucking
I think we just got the booking of the century here. Schlack says, how about one versus Schlack? Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen. If on struggling with Sozio right now, we just booked. We could book it down the line. Let's make it for 3 to 6 months from now.
Matter of fact, Schlack, look, definitely. Afterwards, better be some fucking bottles of Jameson and some PBR, and then we'll be good.
Yeah.
But I do want Mance Warner though, and I'll say it right now, that's one guy I wanted to fucking win is Mance Warner. Like I love watching his shit. I think he's
that would be good too.
Like I got the message him on Facebook. I was supposed to work with him at an IWC show, No Holds Barred, and then it got canceled. So that's another one. There's a lot of people I do want to work with. I think like it will be fun. You know what I mean? Like Schlack definitely. Like I fucking
that would be fucking
company.
insane.
The guy fucking is
that would
awesome.
be insane.
That's who I want. Fucking Masada again. You know.
Schlack says 100% before and after. LOL.
All right, before, yeah, all right.
Before and after he's in.
We'll do it. So, but yeah, it was a lot of things that's supposed to happen, but it just fell through, and I just can't. It just worked with someone that can't give the direction, and you had like these great programs, and he just lets it sit through his hands because it seems like the fucking retard can't focus on like multiple things. You know what I mean? Like
of course
he
not.
just can't. Like when me and G's worked fucking Homicide in Kingston, it was a build-up. We built that ourselves, calling them out and everything. And then finally when they came in, it's like, all right, where are we going to go with it? What's the end game with it? Nothing. It went flat because there was no support from the company. There was no support at all.
And a lot of times those one-off matches that were supposed to be more than what they are, like Masada and everything else, in my opinion, the same kind of shit would happen with me where if it was like something cool or if it got over a little too much, DJ didn't like that. So he had to like, it was almost like to spite himself and to spite the company, instead of booking something that would be awesome, he just stopped it because he wasn't involved in it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like
that's what I got. I don't know. It's probably a whole bunch of different things, but it was just like I couldn't fathom what was going on. It happened with the Briscoes. It happened with Homicide in Kingston. It happened with Masada. It was just weird. It was like it was just focused on some other shit. And I mean, there was no other support. Like how many fucking locker room generals he hired? Honestly. You know what I mean?
Right.
The icing on the cake to me is when Connor Claxton, when he asked me the question, why did I leave Combat Zone? And I explained to him, the first Philly show he did, me and DJ had this arrangement, right?
Yeah.
Where, I can't believe I'm talking about this fucking dipshit, but we had this arrangement with my work. When I'm off, the weekends I'm off, I will contact you, especially by show weekends. He's like, all right, that was the arrangement. So, first show in Philly. I'm a Philly guy. I grew up in Kensington.
Right.
I basically grew up in this fucking building. And I remember texting him the week prior, everything. So I'm told to come down. All right, cool. So I get there, and this is that winter storm.
Yeah.
So I get there, right? Going to the back, the whole change. Man, that was the show he booked the Young Bucks, right? Chuck Taylor was back there. Then Chuck Taylor wasn't booked.
Oh, yeah, I remember all this.
So I get back there. Adam Flash is the locker room general.
This is like
agent.
This is like 2015 about because I remember. Yeah. I think it was.
Yeah, so he was the agent backstage. So he sees me, says, "Hey, what's going on?" I had my shit with me. I'm like, whatever. And he said, "All right, look, let me find out what's going on." So this is pre-show. So I'm sitting there. I'm sitting in the back, shaking hands, giving hugs, kissing babies, slapping asses, the whole nine. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting and I'm waiting. Flash doesn't do anything. I see DJ. I say, "Hey, what's going on? Like, what's up?" So he's like, And he, he's like, I'll get with you in a little bit, and then he keeps moving, right, all over the fucking place, wearing his fucking cheap fucking suit. So, and I have mad love for Maven. I don't know how Maven is like the fucking Gandhi. I don't know how he puts up with shit.
Yeah.
So, better man than me. I would have went to jail for homicide. But he kept going back and forth. I'm still waiting. Show started, and I'm like, all right. And then I remember Ruckus and Robbie and them got stuck at the border in Maryland because of the snowstorm. So I remember just sitting there. I'm like, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm done. You know what I mean? And in a weird, selfish way, if I want to call it that or whatever, like I deserve to be there. It's the first show CZW had in Philly. I'm a Philly guy. Grew up in this building. This is my area, my crowd, and I just felt like a blatant sign of disrespect.
Sure.
So I remember before leaving, I see Gacy. I go up to Gacy. I'm like, all right, Gacy, I'm out of here. He's like, yeah. He's like, I shake his hand, I give him a hug, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not coming back again. I'm done.
Yeah.
And then I left. And then come to find out, mind you, check there wasn't booked for the show, pre-booked. He was booked after I left. You know what I mean? He worked and all this shit. I mean, all power to Chucky. Chucky's a fucking man, and he should have been booked. But that was the last time I was there. I was like, nah. And then we fast forward months. He's bringing B-Boy back, and I guess he had no one to work B-Boy. So this cocksucking faggot fucking calls me, or no, he texts me about coming in to work B-Boy. I didn't even fucking respond. Like I was out back in my house, and I just looked at him like, this motherfucker. I was like, nah, left it alone. You know what I mean? I just left it alone. I was like, look, man, you do you, man. I don't know. I'm not gonna hate on what you do. Hey, do you? You know what I mean?
Sure.
But
sure.
it was just like, this fucking dude, does he not get it? You know what I mean? So,
No.
I mean, Nate Webb can tell you a fucking great story about DJ, me, him, and DJ in the locker room. He'll tell you a great fucking story.
I definitely reached out to him, and I'm sure he's going to be on here soon, and because he's one of the most entertaining motherfuckers on the planet.
Dude, his cooking show's the shit. Every time he's in Philly, he stays with me, because Nate Webb is family to me. So no matter what, whoever he works for, he stays with me. And it gets to a point where if I have to work, I leave him the house and everything. So he showed me the first episode. He wanted to show me the episode of his cooking show. So it's making the cheesecake, right? So I'm like, okay. Like I'm watching, showing it to me. Fucking awesome. So I end up making my first one a few weeks ago. So I'm hitting him up. I'm going to make it. So he sends me the whole recipe in detail. I'm in the supermarket grabbing a couple last minute things. I'm on the phone with him, and he's breaking everything down like a fucking scientist. So I make my first one. Awesome, right? So then I had my girlfriend's parents over for dinner Sunday, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a cheesecake, but I'm going to double this fucking recipe and make the fucking thing at least like 3 inches thick. And then it came out amazing. And that's a shout out to Nate Webb. Thank you, Nate. Love you. Can't wait to see you back in Philly again. So
hell yeah, no,
amazing cooking show.
You are the best. You are the best, Nate Webb. I haven't seen the show yet, but I can't wait to check it out. Because as soon as I saw, I saw tweets about it and things like that, but I haven't actually watched it. As soon as I saw that that's what he was doing, I said to myself, oh, that's what Nate should have always been doing.
Yeah.
Like, he should have never even been a wrestler. Like, if YouTube was a thing when we started wrestling, he would have just been a YouTube star and not have had to he wouldn't have had to be a pro wrestler, you know?
I want to see him with the Epic Mealtime guys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. He's gonna do very big things with his like persona and this fucking YouTube shit. I think so. Like I did have a few other things I was going to ask you about, but I mean, we're coming up on an hour here, but I mean, if you have more time, I'm always willing to talk.
I have time, brother, especially for you. I have all the time in the world.
Well, let's just to switch gears away from the fucking wrestling shit because I mean, I'm sure you, but no, it's fantastic to definitely hear that the wheels are turning in your head and the gears are spinning, and that you're thinking about giving it a go. Certainly, when things get back to normal a little bit more or whatever, that's exciting news. and seeing that Schlack is chomping at the bit makes it even more fucking exciting, because that's something that I would drive hours to go see. Like I'm out in the middle of South Central PA, out where Greg runs, in Hanover. So like I'll come out and see that shit. Like that sounds
Yeah, just
terrifying.
let me get my body right because I'm on this COVID dad bod times 10. Yeah, so I'm gonna get it right for Schlack.
Yeah, dude.
Probably just try to
That
get as big as him, maybe
I
bigger.
could see that happening at like GCW, or who
Nah,
big
I think honestly, yeah, it could be anybody. Like, hey, I'm
ICW.
all for it.
Yeah, and whoever's got the fucking, the purse, the biggest fucking purse.
It
Now
ain't
what?
about the purse. I'm going to have fucking fun.
Oh,
That's about
sure,
it.
sure, but I mean, hey, let's make some money if we're gonna risk our lives. You know what I mean? That's the way I fucking. I mean, we're you and
Hey,
I.
no fucking light tubes either. I'm not. No. We're
Yeah,
not.
no.
Let's get that straight.
I think you guys could have a good, terrifying, scary time without light tubes. I think you guys could get it done. You guys are smart enough and violent enough to get it done with other shit. Um, Now, what I was gonna ask you about, and I think I did years ago, but I don't really remember. I remember like little tidbits. Was like a lot of people pretty much know, but if they don't, you're a veteran of foreign war, and you've served some time in the military. So like you've seen, and I know that personally, you've seen some pretty wild shit. You've seen a lot of action yourself personally, and I think I was gonna kind of just ask you about some of that. Like, you don't have to go
Okay.
in. You could go into as much detail as you want, but I guess what was it like being over there and dealing with that, and um, I guess knowing that any day could be the day, and it's a little bit different than knowing that any day could be the day on our side of the soil. You know what I mean? We all leave our house every day knowing that any day
Yeah.
could be the day, but when you're over there and carrying a gun around and you're on a fucking mission, it's a little bit different.
Yeah. I mean, being a kid, you always play guns and stuff. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Me and the
Yeah. Yeah.
neighborhood kids
Yeah.
and shit like that. And then my plans in high school, after high school, was set to go to art school. I was supposed to go to the Philadelphia Institute of Arts, right? Because I was a big I drew a lot, like a big comic book guy. Um, and senior year happened, of course, and first period, not 9/11, the beginning of it started happening. I remember watching TV, first period U.S. government. And I went to Catholic all boys school, Roman Catholic high
And
school.
what grade was this? You said?
I was senior,
Oh, okay. Right.
and second period was theology 101. And I remember going to that class and they see the second play. Now it's kind of weird. So they dismissed us a short time after, and we all went home, right? And we take the L and shit like that. Like, I lived in Kensington, so I remember getting home and, uh, like, you're seeing more and more about it. Like, the story starts developing throughout the days, and you're seeing, like, footage and everything. And probably the day after is probably the most patriotic day the U.S. has ever seen. Everyone had a yellow ribbon, a flag. It was everyone, not like now.
Yeah.
Like, cocksuckers trying to burn the fucking flag.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I remember this time.
I remember I went through an epiphany to where it's like, all right, do I want to be there and, start, throat chopping fucking Taliban and shit, or am I going to sit on the couch eating Lay's potato chips, talking shit? So I made the choice. So I did no research for the military at all. It's like I said, I was geared towards art school, and I already made my mind up. So fuck it. So
Yeah. You
first
figured
recruit
you
I
figured
saw.
at the very least you would have money for school. At the very
Yeah.
least.
First, I was like set for a scholarship and everything.
Right.
So first fucking recruiter I saw, Army recruiter, National Guard recruiter, sitting in the fucking cafeteria. Go right to him. Man, that motherfucker pulled a fucking fast one.
They do.
He got me. He got me.
They are some
Combat
slick
engineer.
talkers, man.
Oh yeah, fucking cocksucking bastard. He retired after he got me.
Oh
I can't think of
fuck.
his last fucking name. So they sold me into the whole combat engineer thing. And at the same time, I was starting out wrestling. So
Right.
sold the whole 2 weeks in the summer, 1 week in a month type shit, GI Bill, all that stuff, whatever, right? That's not what I was thinking about. I was like, oh, cool. So I could do it and still wrestle. So I was like, okay, it sounds perfect.
Right.
And combat engineer. He's like, oh,
Right.
you'll be dealing with C4 and all this shit. I was like, all right, awesome.
Oh, cool.
So
Right.
I do the whole thing, right? I'm not taking the ass bath, not really, thinking about whatever. I didn't do the score, but I get in, set it all up. That summer, I just fucked around, drank. Where I was a manager of Papa John's in Springfield at the time, and I go off the basic training in September. So I'm not getting the basic training now with these guys, and I was in Fort Leonard Wood. So that time frame of basic training, I got to see like all the seasons of the fucking year in that time span.
Yeah.
Like summer, spring, the whole nine. So I graduated basic training January of 2003. I went in September of 2002. And I go to my unit, and I'm like, fuck, this is it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is where it all cracks up to be. Went to Fort Drum, whatever. Did a couple of drills with them. Then finally I got pulled to go on this deployment. They told us, big rumor, we're going to the big sandbox. So I get pulled from Bravo Company right to Charlie Company, the 103rd Engineers. So we go through this whole train up. It's a long process for deployment. Like, go through medical, go through training. Because things were developing at the time with war and tactics and that nature in our mission. Then you go through JRTC or you go to NTC. If you like, you go to NTC in Cali, you go to JRTC down in Fort Polk, Louisiana. That's where they run you through so many scenarios to actually evaluate your unit on your deployability.
Right.
They shake up leadership a lot in
Right.
these areas.
Right.
So we get to go now, and then we spent time at Fort Bliss, Texas for a while prior to going to Fort Polk. And from Fort Polk, we went over to Kuwait, and then Kuwait for I think it was like a week, and then we flown in that night right into Bob Summerall, Beji, Iraq, about 100 miles north of Baghdad. So we get there, now we do this left seat, right seat with the first ID. They were there for a little bit. So our whole job at the time was route clearance. So you're driving down a fucking road, going 5 miles an hour, looking for any indications of possible IEDs on the road. Now,
Sounds nice and fucking dangerous.
dude,
Sounds so fucking. Sounds like you're walking around looking for mines, basically.
oh yeah. Any indication, like disturbed soil, a box that's just out of place, wires, whatever. You're looking for this shit, right?
Yeah,
and you're
right,
sitting
right.
there, you're anticipating.
Right.
Then if you get hit by one, you do your thing.
It's like found it. Found it.
Yeah. You corn off the area. They do a blast analysis, a crate analysis. You look for secondaries, nothing, and if your vehicle's good and no one's hurt, no one's dead,
Jesus
continue
Christ.
on mission.
Okay? Oh my God.
So I got there in December of 2004.
Okay.
And I remember getting there, and you watch these videos, you see all this stuff, and I remember the first car bombing happened on Route Arlington. It was out of Gate 2. And Cochise, which is a contract company, they were down there. They did controlled detonations every day at 1600. Controlled detonations, any munitions they found, they destroyed every day at 1600. These fuckers were making 200,000 a year at the time, and they were blowing up shit. You think it's like a mini atom bomb every fucking day. So
right.
apparently a car bombing happened there. So I was a gunner at the time, so I never got out to see it. So my friends told me, what they saw, things of that nature, and then we continued on mission. Christmas Day, I didn't go to breakfast that day, and we were going out to mission. And I remember a big blast that happened outside the gate, right by the Bulldog bypass of Gate 1. At Gate 1, they used to have an Iraqi checkpoint prior to us getting there, and they got blown up. They killed the fucking captain there, and then the Iraqis never came back. So I remember now I'm at distance. I get out of the vehicle, I see this giant hole, and I see pieces of debris everywhere.
Shit.
So I'm walking around, and we're looking. You're seeing how deep the blast is. So it gives you somewhat of an estimate of the amount of explosives used and things of that nature. And then we're looking for the license plate. Then you go into the whole thing, the BOLO list and whatnot. So I remember looking down, and I found like an intact toe, a big toe.
Jesus Christ.
Fully intact. No dirt, nothing. Fully intact.
Yeah,
Even still had the hairs on it.
Wow.
I picked it up, and the fucking tendon's still hanging out. No blood on the toe. The nail was actually immaculate. It was fine.
That's
so I'm
crazy.
picking up, looking at it, And I showed it to my buddy. He's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "No, look, it's a toe." And then I look down again. Then I find the 4 other toes. And the only thing connecting were all the tendons. It was the tips of the toes, like right under the first knuckle. And I picked them all up, like a spider web of fucking toes. Then my
What's
buddy
wrong
finds
with
the
you that you're
slab.
just picking these things up like it's no big thing?
It was just unreal. It was just unreal.
Of course,
So my buddy finds
right.
the back slab. It was like a slab of meat. It was a dude's fucking back. Then later on, I still have pictures on a thumb drive. But
What the
they find the
fuck?
scalp, all sorts. And the engine block was like a fucking 150, 200 meters away. The engine block. I thought big the blast. Nothing left of the car, just pieces, right?
Fuck.
So every Saturday was a VBID, a vehicle born IED. It was every Saturday. And then that stopped. I started to seize. So we still do our rock cleaner and shit, whatnot. I remember on a one left seat, right seat ride with the first ID, we stopped at this place. I have a picture of the location. It's a horse, and there's a big statue, big clearing. You see Bedouins camping out and shit. And there's a gas station on the far side. It was packed. Remember sitting there, first time ever being shot at. It makes a distinct noise, a crack, because it just broke the sound barrier right by you. I remember hearing that distinct snap.
So
we all stopped and we looked.
So even if a bullet doesn't hit anything, but it just makes a noise zipping past you, even if it's
and it's not even just a snap. It's like someone snapping a rubber band.
Yeah.
So we look over, and the first thing we look at is the whole area where all the people are the gas station is packed. So we're looking over. I remember the first ID. First time I was like, look, someone probably took a pop shot at us from over there. He's like, we're not gonna find it. Probably, fire shot and you're rolled out. So all right. So we continue our mission. Now, left seat, right seat is they show us the AO, which is the area operation. They show us their tactics. We see what they do, and then we do the reverse towards the end. So they evaluate us, and if we're ready to take over the battle space.
I see.
So the first left seat, right seat with us leading, there was this big overpass on Tampa that we normally dismount at, and we walk it to look for anything, right? Because a lot of these fuckers will put an ID underneath the overpass, camouflage it, try to blow the bridge on top of you, whatever. It's a choke point, basically. Essentially, it's a choke point.
Yeah, crazy.
So I remember getting out of the vehicle, or no, I was a gun at the time. So the other guys getting out of the vehicle looking for shit. And then, that was the day prior to, the day prior to, we normally look for shit. But this time, the staff sergeant we were riding with from the first ID said, hey, apparently there's word that there's an ID here. We're just going to drive right through. Just fucking drive through. So, okay. And that was the second vehicle.
That has to be terrifying.
I'm in the gunner's hatch. And I remember we're driving through, and I just sit down, duck my head down, and I could see, like, we're going over the overpass and the shadow and everything, right? So once I felt it was clear, because now it's sunlight inside my hatch, I stood up and boom, right then and there it happened. Fucking blew up right behind me. I remember the first thing I do is I look back and I go, holy shit.
So like you just went over it, like you just cleared it and it blew up.
Went through, yep. And it blew the fuck up. I look back and I'm like, holy shit. Did you feel it? Like you're seeing the videos. You feel it. I got knocked forward.
Yeah.
I look back and I don't see the last vehicle. I just saw the third one. I don't see the last one.
Oh no!
So I'm looking. I'm waiting for the dust up, so we stop. And right away, there's these trucks and cars. Like they're like, you see them often. It's like all white with orange doors, or vice versa, with like little some junk cars, whatever. Right. One just speeds the fuck off. So I trained my 50 cal right on that. Right, I'm calling it out. This kid we had from California, I can't think of the dipshit's name. He's probably dead from a fucking overdose 20 years ago. But he jumps out. And he jumps on the burn and fires one shot towards him. I remember the squad was so pissed. Snatched the weapon. Like, Phillips, that's when they threw him inside the Humvee. Then when the dust fell, I saw the third vehicle. They keep, driving through. So we did that, quick stop. It was like maybe about 300 meters past the blast site. And then we did a quick assessment of the damages. And, some gouging from the shrapnel on some of the vehicles and things like that. But we were able to continue mission.
Right.
So we'll continue on down Tampa, and we get to where Tampa and Arlington bypass. We have to get on this bridge to go across, and a vehicle comes out of nowhere, right? I didn't see it. Like, normally second gun turret, you'll just rotate from left to right in conjunction with the person behind you. First
Right.
vehicle, they have the front, and then the rear has rear security. And it came out, and I sat down. And my squad leader fucking tapped me and looked at me and said, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I was like, I couldn't answer. I
Yeah.
felt like a bitch at that point.
Right.
Just went
Right.
through that. This fucking car just snuck on me.
Right.
Like, I just sat down, bracing, like, oh, fuck, I'm fucked. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, from that point on, it was real after that. It was just, that was real. That was one of the closest guys. That was real. So, every day we go out, we do a weapons check, test fire, things of that nature, check comms and shit. I still have it to this day, a handkerchief. DCU, Desert Combat Uniform Pattern.
Right.
There's a prayer. It's Psalm 91. There's one verse I would say every day before I go out. And I'm not religious by no means,
Sure. Sure.
but
But you need
there's no
you
such
need
thing as
something
an
while you're out
atheist in
there,
a
man.
fox. Yeah, there's no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole.
Is that what they say?
I didn't have a girlfriend. Didn't have a girlfriend. I never was real close to my parents like that. So, I remember I'll say this prayer and we'll go out. Now, within 5 months of this, I get pulled from my unit, and I went to this alleged training at this MWR building right down the strip from us. And Bob Summerall is a forward operating base, right? So at night, you couldn't have the lights on or anything. We would get rocket mortared, all that shit. So it's all combat units on this base. And I always had to wear your vest. Even going to the porta potty, take a piss or shit, you had to wear a fucking vest and your helmet. And you always had to carry your weapon with you in a magazine.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. I guess I understand. I guess if you're over there.
Yeah. So I remember going to this class. It was me and another engineer. He was from the 10th Mountain Division. And then all of a sudden we're going through it, and then it wasn't a class. We got put into like a specialized unit, counter rocket mortar exploitation team. So now we're looking for the rocket guys. So we worked with active duty guys. I was with more guys. Me and him were the two only engineers because we were the engineer assets. We had C4, we had Decker, we had the whole nine.
Yeah.
So then, we did our missions and whatnot, going to POO sites, which was point of origin sites of where they would fire a rocket towards the shit like that. So when a rocket hits the base, they can determine what direction and somewhat the distance. So we would go check these sites and sit on top of a mountaintop and watch over the roads and shit at night. And, it was a great experience. Then finally we catch the rocket guy. So he gets captured. Now there's no job for us. Active duty guys got pulled back to do base defenses. They were just guarding the fob. We end up getting put with the scouts and made up a full platoon with the scouts. And that's when we did all the sexy shit. The high value target raids. One platoon would do day ops. The other platoon would do night ops. And then we get together to do a raid. So we sleep all day, wake up at fucking
What the
1
fuck?
in the morning to do last minute rehearsals and shit. And we're right out into the darkness, snatching fuckers, kicking in doors, the whole nine. And that's when I felt like this is what I'm destined to do.
Right. At that
So,
time.
At that time. So that deployment, a lot of close calls, a lot of, first, American KAs I had to deal with, and I was like towards the end, and then I remember getting the news of Chris Cash's passing, and that fucking hurt. And that was the first time I picked up a fucking cigarette, and it was a Marlboro Red, and I smoked ever since. From that point on, I tried to stop, and then I smoked, and my thing was chewing tobacco. Yes, I chew fucking tobacco.
Yeah.
Copenhagen fucking long cut. So I
yeah, I remember I saw you not long after that.
I remember I got it, and Alex Rivera, Crossbones, who was one of the first to email me. Drew Gulak emailed me.
Yeah.
Ace emailed me to let me know, and I remember calling home, and I was talking to this girl that I was talking to. We weren't dating or anything. I remember it was the first time I ever cried on the phone. It was just everything hit me like bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
And that's when, and then I did come on leave. It was right after I came home on leave for my 2 weeks leave and did fucking Tournament of Death with fucking John and Blackout. I was home on leave for just 2 weeks and I did that.
Yeah.
And then when I got home, the most struggle I had was dealing with regular people. I was agitated. There's no sense of structure. Like it just, I tried everything. I smoked weed. That didn't work for me. Drinking wasn't a thing. I drank. I had fun. I fucked around. Did all sorts of shit. But no drugs. I mean, no drugs. But besides weed. But it was hard for me to just get back to normal life. And the one thing wrestling kind of helped me get back into it. being back in combat zone with the guys and you guys, everything, it
Yeah,
really helped out.
I've heard that
And
before.
then I wanted more. So now I was going to leave and go active. And then my readiness NCO was like, hey, before you do that, go check out Alpha Company. They just became a striker brigade. And they're set to deploy. So me and my guard's godfather, Donahue, he's a Philly cop, we go. We see the guy, we stop into the armory, we talk to them right away. They took a liking to us, started our paperwork. And then I had orders to report to them. So I go with them. First thing they did was send me to MOS Q school. Now I'm going to be an infantryman, 11 Bang Bang. So normally you go from 11 Bravo to 12 Bravo. And I went back. So whatever. And I went to Fort Pickett with Donahue. We spent 2 weeks down there, isolated. Then once I came home, I got sent to PLDC, or right now it's WLC, Warrior Leaders Course, Sergeant School. So I go to that. I get done there. I come back. I'm home for a week. Then I go to Striker OpNet. So then I'm learning to be, the ins and outs of Striker. Got a Striker license, everything. I wasn't going to be a driver, but it just, it's good to know all that stuff.
Sure.
And then after that week was done, I stayed out there, and then we did all of our pre-deployment stuff. I remember seeing that. I was doing the medical evaluation. It was a major that was doing it. I think he was a major at the time of, medical, right? And he remembered me because we played against each other in a flag football league on Sunday.
That's hilarious.
So he's like, man, he's like, how you been? Everything. I'm cool. I'm good. He's like, you honestly want to go back? And it was almost in a way like he could have done anything to keep me from going. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay. I just, want to make sure. He's like, good luck. Hopefully make it back, whatever, right? So during the whole train up and stuff, gearing towards the deployment, my contract was coming up. I already did 6 years, so it was already coming up. And I didn't want to part ways from the guys I've been training with that are about to go overseas. So I re-enlisted for another 3 years so I could stay with them. So, we go through our, checks and balances, and we get overseas, and I went Camp Taji. And then from Camp Taji, we stay 8 miles off base at Sheikh Hamad Village at JSS, a joint security station.
Right.
And things are different this time around. Things were different. Way more restrictions. The SOFA agreement was in act, so every mission we do, contingency of the Iraqi army has to come with us. So, not much shit going on. There's so many different rules of engagement. I have a shit ton of fucking hilarious fucking stories. I'll go into one now. Matter of fact. So we worked around the clock all the time. Our fucking captain at the time, commander, was a whole dude about, he had a checklist and he wanted to check off every mission we do. So basically it came into a weird internal competition of what unit has done the most missions. So one day, we get a call that an MRAP, it's like a fucking giant bus, an armored bus, or like a giant armored fucking Bronco on fucking monster truck tires, gets stuck because these dickheads decide to try to take a shortcut that they saw in their Blue Force tracker and got the thing stuck at a 45-degree angle, so the tires are completely submerged.
Fantastic.
So we have to go to secure the site for a wrecker to come in. So our unit goes, and it's in the middle of a fucking like an orchard area. Like there was trees, but where they got stuck, there were no fucking trees. There's no shade at all. And we're there to hold the place down till the wrecker gets in. And then we don't know when the wrecker's coming.
Right.
So I'm sitting on this, not necessarily a berm, but in front of me was like high grass and shit. And we're sitting there pretty much observing the open area.
Yeah.
And we're left out there. Like, we ended up staying out there for a day. And they sent the wrecker out. Now it's like, what are we going to do? They're going to bring a chopper in, like, to hook it and pull it out, whatever. Like now it's going into this whole thing with logistics and shit, how they're going to achieve,
how the fuck are they going to do that? Right.
Yeah. So I remember sitting there, and it was so fucking hot. When you don't move, you don't feel it. When you move, you're going to feel it. And I fell asleep. I remember sitting there for so long, I fell asleep. So they brought food out to us when nighttime came, right? Now my squad leader, fucking Ring, dude's a fucking nut. 82nd Airborne, fucking nut. So he's like Peanut, and that was my nickname. Like Peanut, grab your guys. We're gonna check the other side. Now I'm like, cool, we're gonna walk.
Right.
So now mind you, it's night. So I take it was me, and I was a fire teamer, Alpha fire teamer, first squad, and Wings was squad leader. So it was me, Dude Clemens, Sedeno, Vincent Burton, my boy Tommy, who's a Bravo teamer. So we're gonna go to the other side, just go for a walk. Because Wings like, fuck this, we're gonna do a quick patrol.
Right.
So there was this fucking drop, right? It's like a canal. And it's about maybe like 8 feet down, and we had to jump over it. And I'm not jumping with a fucking gun in my hand. I'm like, fuck it. Rain jumps over like it's nothing. I throw my shit to him, I jump over, vice versa, right? And then we're moving.
Yeah.
Now, Kantaji decides, let's fire a loom round in the area. So an loom round is, they fire from like a fucking howitzer. And it's a shell that goes over, and it breaks apart in the air, and it's a parachute flare round that drops. And they do it in IR infrared, so only in night vision can see it, but the naked eye can see it, or they'll do it in white light. So we hear the fucking unmistakable boom, and it's like, you hear the boom, and it's like the air shakes.
Right.
And you can hear the round in our area, and you hear it split, and you can hear the tail fin spin away.
Right.
So now I'm under it. This is the first time I'm hearing shit like this, and I'm under it. And I hear it crack, and I hear it spinning. And the first time I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm looking up. I'm like, dude, my thing is I don't want to get hit with this thing. It's solid fucking metal.
Yeah, right.
So they fire another one. Then they fire another one. Then we hear this weird fucking sound.
Oh, no.
This, like this weird sound. We're like, we drop to a knee, and I look back, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a fucking, like an Iraqi Sasquatch or something.
Yeah.
And you just hear it. It's just this sound. It's, everything's quiet. And I mean, if the moon is out, you can see everything, right? So I barely use my NVGs because, 2004, 05, I fucking burned out my one fucking eye. But you hear this fucking sound. It's unmistakable.
And it sounds like it's alive.
We go back. No, we go back. Weeks later, I get called into the tactical operations center. So I go into the talk. And normally when we do base defense, I'm on the radio listening to, like any, QRF calls or whatever, listening to the comms in the area. So I get back and I sit down, and apparently this farmer comes in with Sheikh Kamal, or can't think of this fucking cocksucking Sheikh, but he always wears white. He looks like a fucking Jesus and shit. So he comes in with this farmer and another guy, right? And they go into the talk, and they talk to a commander and shit, and they had photos. Apparently, that sound came from a fucking cow, and that tail fin I was talking about crashed through the shanty roof of their makeshift barn and smacked this cow on the side, and it left this big purple fucking spot on it, and it killed it.
Oh,
so we were listening that night. We were listening to a cow dying from a fucking the tail fin of an loom round. Dude, I seen the pictures like, I was there. I was
there. That's what the fucking sound was. We heard the motherfucker die. We heard him die.
I think they gave this dude like $500. $500.
They're like, we're sorry. We're sorry.
Cow.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And then that was it. So that was one of the few funny stories at the time. But and then we, towards the end, we started getting into some of the action. My buddy Tinny fractured his leg from an IED that blew up under him. We were spotting, I was in the last vehicle, took the medic up and everything, threw the vehicle out, sensitive items, security, the whole nine. Both him and Ring both got Purple Hearts from that deployment. And I get back home, and that's when I kind of thought, like, I did 9 years at the time, so I'm thinking, like, do I want to stay? And after every drill, they kind of sat with me to see if I am willing to stay for, the future and shit. And I'm just thinking, like, from what I see, war is dying down. I have no purpose now. Like, that's what it felt like to me. And I was like, look, I'm engaged, I'm going to get married. I think this is the time I'm going to start the whole regular life thing. I'm going to give it a shot. And I was going to be a Philly cop. So I was going through that process, or starting to get into that process, and I ETS out. I leave, honorable discharge. I got my accolades and shit. I had Soldier of the Year from 2005. I had, a whole bunch of shit. But I put on display my own personal thing. But those pictures I want to print for my, it's
Of
my story.
course.
You know what
Oh, dude, it's a major accomplishment, man. Yeah, definitely don't ever sell yourself short there.
I mean, I showed some great fucking guys, and those guys have did a lot more shit than I did. You know what I mean? I just did what I was trained and supposed to do, and then also contribute to the team. Um, so I worked at a warehouse for a little bit, right? For J&G Associates at a Rite Aid distribution center on Langhorne. So I was working there for a little bit. Money was great, but it just felt that's when I got cut up, and I was doing MMA at the time too, like jiu-jitsu. I needed something, and
Sure.
wrestling at the time, I wasn't just going to come back into it. So I focused on, jiu-jitsu and MMA, and that's what I spent 5 days a week doing the whole time.
Right.
Uh, then I started that job and started the police thing, and I got disqualified from the police. Apparently, I was being deceitful and a fucking polygraph about other shit that I whatever.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's weird.
corrections, I forgot I applied. They hit me up. I respond to that. Then I was going for the Philly warrant unit. Made it through the interview process, which is the hardest thing. The next thing was PT, which I was going to ace anyway. Then I had to make a choice. My 5th week in the academy, it was like, hey, do I want to leave a state job that I just been guaranteed with full benefits and everything, or do I want to go back to kicking doors, which is my thing, but the benefit package sucks and all that other shit. So I
Sure.
had to make a choice, so I went with the adult choice.
Right.
So then ever since then, I stayed with corrections. I had to find another niche. I had to make it work for me because I still needed that adrenaline rush. You know what I mean? It's nothing beats knowing that you're in danger, right? You could
Sure.
possibly die,
Right.
but at least at that moment, you have shit to protect yourself with, and you can
Right.
take someone else's life.
Right.
Nothing beats that. So I
Say it.
got in CERT, Corrections Emergency Response Team, tried out for them when I was still a T4 trainee, made the team, and then it just went forward from there. And 5 years in, I get basically recruited into taking the second security lieutenant spot for the security department in the jail. Did that for about almost 2 years, and then I ended up managing to. I had to make a choice: either stay with security or stay with CERT. I couldn't do both, and CERT's my thing. This is the team I helped build, and the guys helped me out, and I wouldn't leave that, so I went with CERT. And then they put me back on shifts, so now I'm on, two off, 12-hour shifts, and they put me in the hole now. I did 1 whole year of night shift learning the control center part and hiring and setting up rosters. Now I'm in the RHU, restricted housing, and dealing with those fuckheads.
Yeah, dude. I mean, anytime you've talked about it, you seem to have a passion for it. You know what I mean? And it seems to be something that all these things that we're talking about, dealing with prisoners, dealing with fucking obviously war scenarios and being overseas, like shit that would normally scare the fuck out of normal people is like just tiptoeing through the tulips for you. You know what I mean? Like it's just fucking easy peasy, and
I
you're
think people.
and you're comfortable with it. And that's just it's strange, but we need these people. We need people like you. You know?
That's why I say at work. It's like, you know, they, I think DOC is going through a change of, treatment and things, things like that. And I look at like you're always gonna need someone like me that's willing to get their fucking hands dirty so you don't.
Oh yeah,
I have a hard time. Now I'm a lieutenant. I'm supposed to sit back and be, more like less hands on and more just giving direction. But I'm
sure.
still, you'll still see me climb under a bunk searching for drugs or snatching a fucking inmate and putting them down and doing lockups and escorts to showers. I still do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But I think with the whole thing with war and stuff, like you won't know if you have it unless you put yourself in that position.
sure.
Honestly,
And
it's
I
a
think
make it or break.
some people that could be too late. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to be in a situation that's life and death, and then find out you don't have what it takes the hard way. Yeah, obviously,
Yeah,
and wind up fucking dead. But obviously, I mean that's not the case with everybody that goes to war, or
yeah.
obviously
Like
some people step on IEDs and things. It is
I
what it
look, I
is.
look back, and I'm like the biggest. the biggest regrets I probably had with my military career is I should have went active duty. If I honestly stayed active duty, I would have probably been in special forces. And now it's either would I still be alive today? Would I have the beautiful daughter that I have? Would I, you know what I mean? The friends that I have, you know, and I look back at that thing like the things I've done, you know, my military career, like I enjoy doing. Like when people say to me, "It's like thank you for your service," it's like no, like I had fun. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I get what they're saying and I appreciate, but it's like no, I did have fun. Like I enjoyed it. Like I wanted it more and more and more. Like I wouldn't mind doing it, coming home for a little bit until it pisses me to fuck off, which only takes a week, and then go back again because I felt like this is where I'm supposed to be. You know, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
when I made the decision to be, you know, try to live a regular life, it was so fucking. I still struggle with it now. Like now, you know, I have post traumatic stress, shit that I've denied for so long. I remember not wanting to. I would see the counselors and shit, and they would ask me, "Hey, ever had a flashback?" And I would think like you mean like Vietnam style when you dive on the fucking desk and hear balloon pop? I was like, no, like I hear shit like gunfire, like a shot or a firecracker, like I turn and look. But the one thing that fucking freaks me out though is balloons popping. I don't know why
Yeah.
balloons
Yeah.
popping, especially because I anticipate them. It makes me anxious. I
Yeah.
never thought
Yeah.
I had anxiety.
Yeah.
Sleep problem.
I could understand all that. I mean, it all makes sense,
Yeah,
man. I could understand how
I
anybody
finally
would.
had to. Yeah, I finally had to accept it because even at work, my boy Mackle, who's like that dude's like my fucking life coach, you know what I mean? And he
Sure.
would say, he's like, look, man, he's like, you're fucked up. You need to fucking get your shit checked. I know you're fucked up. And playing violent video games, watching violent movies doesn't bother me.
Right. Right. Right.
And finally I saw somebody, did quite a few, you know, appointments. You know, my marriage pretty much fell apart. And it was all just things building up that I was defeating myself. I became so withdrawn from things. I mean, I contribute to to my marriage in a way. Falling apart. It's just like things would just trigger me, and then finally, I had to come to terms with this shit. I had to accept it. The more I accept it, the better it was. My wife at the time is like she tries to understand, but she doesn't. You never will understand it. You can't try to force me into being this one person that I'm not capable of becoming. So then that's like an eternal battle within me that starts off with all shit. Luckily, like I didn't get into drugs and shit, but after my first bottle of fucking Jameson that Ace bought me, I was
Right.
doing drinking. I was drinking 3 doubles a fucking night.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's just to relax and be able to talk to my wife and be around my daughter.
Right.
Three.
Right. And
And
yeah, we talked about that, and like,
yeah,
and
so
at that point is like when you obviously have to assess what's bothering you and
yeah.
get to the root of it, you know.
So I finally got my thing, got my, ring, but I had to accept the fact that yeah, like something could potentially pop the fuck off to where I'm not gonna come back from it. You know what I mean? Like every day I get to work, a lot of the trainees, a lot of people call me angry man 'cause I have such a stern, angry face. Even, I have inmates are afraid of me. You know what I mean?
Sure,
It's weird.
yeah,
Like these
that's
motherfuckers
good.
kill people. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I did, but I'm just like whatever. But it's like I get so driven and so focused on things like I forget about everything else around me in ways. Like I just focus on one task. But then when the problems started happening, I couldn't do that no more. I just couldn't focus. I was so withdrawn. Like I build fucking like models and shit. I went back into collecting comics again. Went back into collecting figures. You know what I mean? Slowly doing things that were me. And I think that's when wrestling has come. Because at that time, I got pulled from wrestling
Right.
and I lost me. Like
Yes.
what made me. And that contributed to my downfall within my personal life.
Sure.
It's much better for me now, honestly. Like I feel much better now because I don't have that one person that to me triggered a lot of things.
Right. 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 Right.
And I'm not saying she's a terrible person or anything. It was just like I didn't know how to cope with it with her at all.
Sure.
But
It is tough, man.
now it's like, yeah, slowly things are getting, but it's still, I have my struggles, in daily life of focusing on, certain things. I have to understand and not be as selfish and look at my new mission in life is raising my daughter. You know what I
Right.
mean? Even though her mom lives somewhere else, she's with me, and we're doing a great job co-parenting. Like, her mom is amazing. It's just sad that we can't be together. It's
Yeah.
sad.
No,
But
it's good.
I got to do what's best for me because I can't be in the house with my daughter and we're constantly fighting.
Right.
I just can't do
It's
that.
definitely good that it worked out well, and
Yeah.
everybody gets along, and things are good in that regard, especially for your daughter and whatnot. Um, but yeah, dude, I get it. I definitely understand having to make the smarter adult decisions, and having a son who's going to be 4 in a month. It's like I can't imagine putting wrestling or anything in front of him ever again. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine, like, and I get it. I'm not knocking what other people do, but obviously there's a lot of performers that work for WWE and are on the road a lot, and they have kids, and they it is what it is. I just can't imagine being away from them as much as they are. I don't think it's something I could
Yeah.
ever want to do. It's not something
No, definitely not.
I ever would do. But
Hey, give my
I
daughter a kiss real quick
oh yeah, yeah, do
before
that,
she goes
man.
to bed. Come here.
Definitely give her a big old
I love you,
kiss.
honey. Okay. Then of course I gotta get my phone charged too.
Oh yeah, yeah, man, and certainly I'm gonna let you go because we've been on a while here, but I guess just in closing, certainly thanks for sharing all that with me, and I do want to talk to you some more, and we
Oh
will,
yeah, definitely.
and we definitely will. We'll cover a little bit more of maybe like you said, your relationship and maybe some other fun war stories. But I guess just in closing, because we talked a lot about wrestling and you possibly dabbling back in it, what would you be looking to get out of it now? Like what would be the end goal really? What?
Just the closure and just saying that I've done everything I could. Like, I wouldn't mind just, like I said, do one AEW dark match, call it a day, be done. Bring this idea that me, Key, Homicide, and Nell put together. I just want to bring that to life. Like, it's just gonna blow fucking people the fuck back. It's something we've talked about for a couple of years now, and I just want that to finally, you know, bring it to life.
Absolutely.
And then have my fun with it, contribute to the business, pretty much help out this new generation, bring back, being a legitimate tough guy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that no more. That's my main thing is you don't see it no more. No offense to a lot of these pretty boy motherfuckers, but some lockers are like a fucking castle couch for fucking gay porn. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah,
So
yeah.
you got to bring back the legitimate tough guy. Like, it's always embarrassing in a way when you go to certain places. My friend's like, so what do you do? You're a pro wrestler, and then they should be afraid of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's how I was brought up. So, but I just want to bring certain like ideas to life now. And I feel like it's about time, and then I can have my closure and part ways, say my goodbyes, and just enjoy myself. You know what I mean? And be in locker rooms and help out and talk. I'm willing to talk with anyone. They pull me aside. We sit, we talk, we have a conversation. Hey, cool. Just pick my brain. You know what I mean? Don't know everything, but I'll tell you through my experiences.
Yeah, man. I think all that is possible. I look forward to that. I mean, I really hope things get back to normal sooner rather than later, so we could see that. Because I mean, especially if you guys were all to get together in any capacity, whatever you want to call it, that combination of fucking dudes would be insane. So
Yeah.
I look forward to it, man. But yeah, dude. I guess enjoy the rest of your night. Thanks again for doing this, and
Hey, anytime, brother, man. Love you, man.
yeah, man. I love you too, man. I'm gonna end this here, but hang on for a second, everybody. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.